I am Manny Rosario, and I am originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And for the last about 25 years, I live in South Florida in the United States. My wife is Florence, and she is from France. And in the middle of the pandemic in 2020, we moved to France, and I am now a French citizen, and we lived in an RV, and I tell my stories as a Puerto Rican living in France and Europe. In the last few days, we have been staying in a region just east, or if you must say east or more into the country of France, about 130 kilometers of Bordeaux, which has been the region that we have been more, and it's more it's not in the coast like we've been before. And it's called Bergerac, and many of you know because of Cyrano de Bergerac and the famous play or book or film that meaning no, I remember there's a version of kind of like a loose version of it with Steve Martin, well, a modern version, let's say. And this is the city, and this is the theme in this city, Bergerac, because the story is from, Cyrano de Bergerac of this region. We actually stayed in the outside of Bergerac. It's not that easy to find areas for RVs in the areas of small towns and so on, or towns basically, because it's older towns. They have centuries actually. Many of them are the same roads, just modernized a little bit, but they're not for this type of cars, this type of vehicle, big vehicles. Sometimes you have to find other areas and park in the outside of the town, and then either walk or go in bicycle. That's what we did, and this is the market today, the outside market, or you can call it like a version of a farmer's market, but it's very common. So it's farmer's market, quote unquote, but it's really very common. It's during the week, it's every week they have it, different type of days in different regions of the city, because this city is a little bit bigger than just a small town. Today is the first day of spring. This you were seeing, there were some flowers that I took, and that building behind was just a pretty building. And this area is like basically the old town, the old Bergerac, kind of like, if I have to compare, you can compare with San Agustin in close to Jacksonville, the old San Agustin. When you visit, it's kind of like picture that, like where you're visiting an area where also people still live, but it still has the buildings of many centuries ago, and you can really feel it when you walk around it. It's very beautiful. It has a lot of museums and so on. However, everything like museums and restaurants have been closed because of COVID, and we just really sad that happens. But this is a statue of Cyrano, and it's like there, like that's the church, and looking in the statue in the plaza, many people were there just taking pictures and all, like us. Some other people were having lunch and so on. But the museums, there have a lot of museums here, even a museum of tobacco that we saw, so that we thought that could have been interesting. But like I said, many of these, all these things are closed. I mean, restaurants, some are open just for things to go, but this area is another little plaza, just a little bit farther, closer to the river, that has some bed and breakfast that I thought they were really cozy, really beautiful. I saw the pictures and the outside. You see, this is one here, and then they have a little plaza beside it. You even see this bicycle in the front. It's almost like all staged but it's really beautiful. If you guys have not been, many of you maybe had traveled a lot and have actually been here in Bergerac, because it's a town that I think is suggested to people to visit, And for what I understand, when I was talking to Florence, many people from England visit this region. Um, Here is the Dordogne, the river, and this river, uh, is a pretty big river that had been used for transportation for many years. And the city of Bergerac was many centuries ago one of the only places that you could cross this river. And you will see in a little bit, I don't know if I showed it already, the actual bridge. There is the bridge, and the bridge, I think, for what I understand, that was the only bridge that existed for many centuries ago. So the city was a pretty happening city some time ago, because this was the only place that you could cross the bridge. Obviously, it was not a bridge as big as that one, most probably before the bridge or and after. I think they destroyed that boat. Well, not that boat, but and they would cross with boats. So just took some of the historical pieces that I saw around. We never went to the office of tourism, anything like that. We just saw, and there's a lot of explanation. This is again the theme of the place and what I'm saying, and also Cyrano, and also of the museums and pieces. So you could see, you could have a feeling of arts and appreciation for the arts. This here is just an aisle that I got, and it remind me. I enjoyed very much. I don't know if you guys have been in Venice, in Italy. That is a really, really nice town, and it has really small roads. And this reminded me of that. So I took it and I actually walked it, because I like to just kind of go back in time when I walk through these type of areas. And I enjoyed it very, very much. And I could hear the people talking. I took out the sound because it was too strong in the matter of the cars and so on, the people. So it was too much of a mix. So that's why I took out the sound. But basically, just picture a bunch of people talking in French, and also visiting the area. Is like I said, it's spring, so it was a beautiful day today. We actually walked here and went back. There's a lot of good wine around this area. I wanted to tell you. It's just we did not buy. Tomorrow we'll visit another place that we're gonna pretty have the chance to visit and buy wine. But there's good wine, but we didn't have the time to carry it all. Okay, ciao.